and welcome to today's webinar. We're going to talk about how to use your case studies and your testimonials and all of the content that you do on your customers and clients and members and use that for your marketing. We've named Steal our strategy to double the reach of your case studies. I think perhaps that this is one of the most, I called it before, niched topic that we've done. But you can call it, because case studies, I kind of had the feeling that it's kind of a SaaS thing or a B2B company kind of thing. But if you work in the public sector or you work as a manufacturing company, I'm sure you'll do these kind of things. Talk to whoever like participates in your organization, and you can use that as a synonym for case studies, I guess. So before, I'll just I want to introduce myself so you know who's staring at you and talking to you all for the upcoming 40 minutes. My name is Heidi Bordal, and I work as a community manager at Storykit, meaning that I handle our owned channels, the distribution of content in social media, primarily LinkedIn and Instagram. We use Facebook for campaigns and paid ads, but that's handled by my colleague Sophia. And I do I distribute content on our newsletters. I do these kind of things, digital events for our users and everyone else interested in knowing, interested in getting some inspiration on how to share all of the amazing stuff that you're already doing on social media. And you're feel free to please connect with me on LinkedIn. My name there, though, is Heidi Valentine Bordal, Valentine Bordal. That's my full name. And I'll send you the slide deck afterwards, of course, and then you can click on the link that I've created. Okay, and also, before we start, one of the things that we do is that we have a Facebook group, a Facebook community for everyone interested in video and social media, obviously, social storytelling. We share some tips and tricks and best practices in the tool. So please join. I think we're about 3,600 members now, and you get a weekly dose of inspiration and that kind of stuff. So please join that. Video for social media is the group. And here's what we'll do today. What we'll cover and get our hands on is, of course, the power of case studies and tips and tricks on how to actually conduct them efficiently. So I've kind of flipped the usual agenda. I've usually started on point number 2, how to do something with what you already have. But I spoke to my colleague, our content manager, Maddie, the other day, and she had great tips on how she does the case studies. And so I want to share them with you. And then we'll go into the case studies and how to actually use them. I'll go through a tailored process to effectively distribute your success stories. And then I'll share 3 videos, the idea behind them, and I'll show you how you can create them. This is going to look a bit like last week when we talked about reports, because it's all content. It's both case studies, reports, webinars are longer, bigger pieces of content that you can easily turn into more bite-sized, snackable pieces. So some stuff will like overlap, others will not. But I hope you will stay with me throughout this. So it's a bit of a repetition if you've been here before, but we'll focus it around case stories today. So some differences as well. So the power of case studies, your success stories, your testimonials, whatever you like to call it, are many. Because of course, there's a concrete, firm proof of value. Because not only do they provide evidence of how your product, service actually works, but of course, people believe in other people. And we're more likely to believe someone, a peer of ours. So if I'm looking for a publishing or scheduling tool, I can get tons of advertisement from them. But if I see someone that's actually doing what I'm doing and they're getting benefits from a certain product, I might actually, or I will probably listen to them a bit more than just the ads I'm seeing. And it easily lets you target specific audiences, because you can have one case story for one segment of your audience, or different pieces of one case study can apply to different segments. And there's a long lifespan in terms of relevance, because regardless of updates or new features that comes around, your mission and vision will probably be the same throughout the lifetime of your product or service. So a case study is more or less always relevant, especially if you've done a few. I'll show you some of ours just to you can get an idea of what I mean with that. So this is Madison. She works as a content manager here. She writes so many different pieces of content that's valuable to our customers. And she's also the person actually contacting or getting in contact with our users. And I talked to her the other day, and I think she has some great ways of doing these. First of all, she told me that she doesn't schedule a call with someone longer than like 30 minutes. And this is great for two reasons. One is that you're not asking for that much time from someone. And it also forces her, in a way, to get to what she wants much quicker than if she had a full hour or two. So she'll make sure that she wants to do something specific with this quick interview, and it just forces her to think of the right questions. Usually, she gets in contact with a user by one of our customer success managers or a salesperson, and they will initiate contact between Maddie and the user. And she works with a format. You know, if you've been here before, that we're all about formats. I'm not going to go in too deeply on this today, but I had an amazing conversation with our motion director, actually, Christian Geyer. He used to work as head of distribution on the company Kit. And he said, we talked about something. Okay, now I'm getting this a bit twisted. We talked about something that someone else has said, which is Fredrik, our co-founder. A lot of people think that working with formats make your creativity decrease, that creativity dies when you're bound to do something in a very tight place. But it is quite opposite, and I have discovered this myself. If I'm forced to do something the same way, I will actually come up with more ideas within those boundaries of how to find new ways to convey like the same kind of story, and new ways to make this formatted piece of content in just new and exciting ways, because I want to do it differently, and that just sparks my creativity, actually. So she works with the format that she first talks about the challenge that a customer have. Might it be getting more reach on social, or increasing their productivity, or saving money? And then she goes into the solution, which is obviously Storykit, because we're the ones talking. And then the results that they had from using our product. Of course, she'll ask for some background before, so that people get an idea of who we're talking to. And she prepares them with 4 or 5 questions, because people like to get prepared, and they'll make sure they want to give good answers. So I think this format is great. You can head over to our blog or customer success stories site landing page, and you can really see what we mean about this. Okay, so you've already done the hard work, which is setting up an interview, asking someone for their time to answer your questions. You've written this long piece of article, and you've spent hours putting together a draft and writing the whole thing, making sure that it's as good as possible. But what happens now? That's what we want to answer, because there's a lot of struggles with creating a lot of content, of course, but distributing it shouldn't be. The struggle is that asking someone, so a prospect or so, to read a whole case study, that for that person, it can feel very consuming and overwhelming to read a whole article. And the thing about the article is that it will probably only have some value if it reaches the right audience, and when the right people that you're aiming for are engaging with it. And of course, we should be using links. There's benefits in publishing a whole case study somewhere, or a link to a case study on social, but they're most likely only going to be consumed by the most dedicated people, and we want to reach more than those. And links, I'm afraid, won't be boosted by the platforms, because links takes your audience, your viewer, or reader, somewhere else, and no platform likes that. And oh, sorry, I lost all words. Okay, we'll just keep going. Sorry. Okay, the solution to all of this, then, you see, I follow kind of the same format that Mari does. It's the struggle, the challenge, and the solution to it, and the results. Snackable pieces of content that you can consume most in feed, they will be consumed by more than just the dedicated ones. Because if someone asks me to read a whole report or a whole case study that will take me 7 minutes, I might actually be more, I will more happily sometimes consume a 30-40 second long video. And that will give me a lot of touch points on what a certain company is doing. And this kind of digestible content is perfect for engagement. People will happily spend a few seconds watching something, as I said. And more distribution, if we can distribute more content, we'll reach more people. And as I said, both me as a viewer, if I'm on LinkedIn, and LinkedIn itself likes in-feed content, because I can stop, I scroll, I stop somewhere, I get some inspiration, I get an educational piece, and then I can just keep scrolling whenever I'm done. And it's a struggle with, I've had this discussion a lot with my colleagues and my manager, and so that it can be really hard to measure these kind of things. I know that, because I know for myself, and I know for other people, if I see something from company X, I can see stuff from them 4 to 5 times without me taking some kind of action. And maybe I won't even engage with that kind of video, because I engaged with it by viewing it. Maybe I won't like it, I won't comment on it. I'll just get a marketing touch point somewhere in my head. But by the time I've seen 4 or 5 pieces of content from company X, eventually I'll maybe start a new job, or I'll talk to one of my peers, And I'll say, oh, wait, I know a kind of company that does what you're looking for. You should check out company X. And what I wanted to say before is that, unfortunately, I've talked about this before, but unfortunately, the hard truth is that very few people, unless like the most absolutely dedicated ones, the ones that are actually ready to buy, the usual prospect, or the average man, if you will, they'll probably not go to your website just to see, oh, I wonder if Storykit, the company I've only heard of a few times, have some cool case stories to share. No, we have to take people there. We have to put these case studies in front of people. And that's what we're doing on social with snackable content. And I show this every time as well, but I think it really grasps what I'm trying to convince people about. But Elon Musk tweeted this back in May. He says that the more screen time users spend looking at a post, regardless if it's text, a picture, or a video, the more it will be boosted. And video posted natively to this platform, meaning not using a publishing third-party tool, probably, will be boosted more than an external link, because way more time is spent watching a video than clicking on something. And you might get a bit scared and be like, but no one's going to watch my if I'm asking someone to spend more time watching a video than clicking a link, people won't do that, but they will, because they'll easily spend a minute watching your storytelling, rather than leaving Twitter or X or whatever they're at, because that will open a new browser, and then they want to go back to Twitter, so they might as well keep scrolling. So I think this is it's just a nice little tweet from Elon Musk. Hope he's doing well. Okay, but how on earth would I be able to turn one case study into snackable pieces of content? I have no experience in video. This was me 2 years ago when I started at this company. Well, I have the solution to that challenge as well, and that's text-based videos. I don't want to become too selling to you. I'm not here to convince you to buy our product, but I work with this every day. I know the struggles of working with especially organic content. You want to get stuff out there. There's so little time. Not only have to you distribute the content, you have to create it. You have to set up a podcast. You have to collect data and information to write your report. And now you have to be a journalist as well if you want to interview someone. There's a lot to do working with marketing. We all know that. But what if you're hired as a social media manager or marketer, your boss is probably just gonna want to see that there's activity on the platforms that you've decided to go with. And one way to distribute a lot of content to make everyone happy is by text-based videos. And this is why I think they're so great, because it lets me, at least, hopefully you as well, fire out content without editing skill, much more than if you're working with, I'm not going to say any names, but the more complicated, advanced video editing programs that they're out there. And it's much more scalable, because you can share the same piece of content in so many ways. You already have the quotes from your customers, and you already have the background to their company, and you already have the struggle, the text that you spend time creating. And you can just flip some words around. You can change a background asset. You can change a slide type. There's just so many ways to do it differently. And as we talked about before, these small pieces of content that doesn't take someone out of the platform, they're favored by the platforms. And we want to make LinkedIn and Twitter happy. And you don't have to reinvent the wheel, because you've already done the hard part, which is conducting the case story and actually getting into typing it down. So use what you have, get it in front of the right people, do it 1,000 different ways, and you'll eventually find what works for you. And this is one very easy way to do that. So I'm going to go this distribution framework rather quickly, because today I will not take too much of your time. We'll get into the video making. I'll send this out, of course. Quick water break. All right. So this is the framework that seems perhaps pretty obvious to a lot of people, a lot of you. But this is, I see it as a distribution framework, and it sounds like a lot of job work, but it's not actually, because once you get a hand of it, it comes out really quickly. But I do this kind of framework for every piece of content that we do. And that's a lot. But as I said, once you get a hang of it, this will just come naturally for you. So we'll start with the goals. So now I'm talking about one specific video that I've created. It could be a simple case study trailer. It could be a powerful quote video. It could be a longer video with the background and the struggle and the solution and the results. Regardless of how long or small it is, I think about my goals. What do I want to do with this specific one? Do I want to do a quick, punchy quote video that's gonna lead people to the case story? Eventually, I post a link in comments. Or do I just want people to see it, consume it, repurpose the article, and then they can keep on scrolling? Or do I just want the information in it to get consumed? And this will make me the next step way more easier to do. So next one is the audiences. Different parts of one case study can appeal to different segments of your one audience. So somewhere in that struggle, there's a need for better ROI from your product or service. It can lead to increased productivity. These are the kind of case studies that we do. Dun & Bradstreet, they save a lot of money using Storykit. But they also had the challenge of not doing enough video or being able to do enough video. They were also able to reach more people because a video made in Storykit is much more easily localized for different markets than if you have to jump into an advanced program and redo the whole thing. So one case of Dun & Bradstreet, in this case, study, different parts of it can appeal to different people depending on what they're looking for. And text-based video allows me to distribute this for different audiences. And it's also, of course, about deciding on your channels to make sure that you reach your audience where they spend their time. And this will also, what's it called? Impact on where and how I distribute something. So I do different things on LinkedIn and Instagram. Even though I'm using one case story, I will structure the content in different ways. I'll probably use different assets. I'll do maybe even shorter and punchier things on Instagram, because Instagram is a bit more of a sound on platform these days. Whereas LinkedIn, you might be actually scrolling LinkedIn where you're in the office landscape or you're at a meeting. I hope I'm not the only one. Kidding. But then there's more time for someone to actually spend 30 seconds in silence. And there's also, of course, different segments of your one audience on different channels. And this is something that I especially talked about when we did the reports webinar on how to turn a long report into several snackable pieces. Because when we talked about the reports, We talked about how maybe stakeholders, if you want to do a very stereotypical segmentation, some stakeholders and investors might spend more time on LinkedIn on a professional platform. But when I try to make content for other content creators, I do a little bit more of that on Instagram. Because I think content creators are more modern. Kidding, again, I'm gonna stop. Okay, the next step is the structure of every little video that you make. I use different hooks to reel people in. I tried different hooks for the same piece of content, different value points. So you see these all go in a bit on each other. They overlap sometimes. And then you'll probably use different format types. You'll do a quote in a still image sometimes, or you can do a carousel. I think those are gone now on LinkedIn, but there's a document post that you can make. And you just try out different things, and different people will like consume different formats, that is. And also, depending on your structure, depending on your goal, depending on the CTA, depending on your audience, you'll use different CTAs. Sometimes I do longer videos that are about a minute long with the whole background, and I actually describe what Maddie's written as the struggle and the results. I'll probably not use a CTA other than have a good day. But if I do a quick quote video, I'll probably use a CTA like discover the whole success story, link in comments, that kind of thing. And then there's the frequency. This is probably what I like to talk about the most. But how often are you going to post something? How much distribution do you think something needs? And I cannot stop talking about the fact that there is no way that you're going to bore your audiences out by producing and distributing a lot. Don't be afraid to post a lot. It's favorable by the platforms because they're going to see that you're an active business page. There is a very small chance that the same person will see your content, same piece of content every so often, because we are competing with so many other companies on there. So just a little bit about the frequency. If you can turn one case study into 5 different quote videos because your customer said so many great things, that's 5 pieces of video, then you can do a little editing on those, and then you have 10 pieces of content, and then you have your content calendar when it comes to case studies set for a month or so. And these are the videos that I've made based on one case study that we have. Before I do that, I'm going to check the Q&A. Claire asks, Claire has to leave. Thank you. Will we get a recording? Yes, you will definitely get a recording, Claire. I'd be happy to send that out to you after this afternoon or tomorrow, the latest. So, okay, let's have a look at these videos, and we'll make sure that we have time for at least one of these. And as you see, I've already included the storyboard ideas, so you can easily grab those. Once you have the slide deck, you can just shove them in your own Storykit editor if you want to later. Okay, so this is something that the first one, to grab attention with a quote, you can use both in feed or as a actionable piece if you want to drive traffic to your website, because a quote can be super powerful on its own, or you can just distribute a quote and you can use more of the space that you have in the text post and give people a little bit more context. You can actually line up the challenge, the solution, and the result in your text post, and you have this great video that just boosts it a bit more. Oops, I started the wrong one. Sorry, we're gonna just quickly. So you see this one is 14 seconds. It's very short. And then you can either choose to follow a link in post, or you can just scratch that CTA and just use it as a look at Ariel. She made this. Yeah, as I said, use the text post instead. Another hook that I like to use is numbers, because that makes people intrigued to know what this number is about. So this slide is dynamic number, which I love. It's about how the list grow company gained 20,000 followers in just 1 year by using Storykit, which is amazing. Here we have a little bit more of a background. So this one is 34 seconds long. I've also included the quote because people believe in people. And yeah, you can either follow the link in post or just distribute it as a whole. And the last one I made with our AI creator, case study with quotes. I didn't do too much changes when it comes to the storyboard or the assets, but that's of course something that we can do afterwards. This one is, as you can see, longer. It's above a minute. So that one's perfect for in-feed content. Okay. We don't have to watch the full thing. So I will jump out of the slide deck now, and we'll get into the tool. Let's see. I hope you can still see my, maybe you can't, maybe you, if you don't see my screen, please let me know and I'll make sure to get that fixed. I'll get into my client. I'll do this folder. So here, again, I hope you see my screen now that I'm in the case study that Maddie wrote. And I'm just going to grab all of this text. Don't worry about the pictures and videos. Look at that. All of that text. Command C or Control C on a PC. Back to the tool. I have the text now copied. I click new video. I'll name this List Grove AI, just so I know which one. I'm going to choose my theme for the day. It's called Aaron. Save. Write script. If you've been here before, this is also a bit of a repetition, but I hope that's okay. So I've this one autofill assets from your project of choice is clicked in by default. Sometimes I go into a different one. Yep. But I actually have uploaded some assets, the picture of Ariel, some assets that I think looks good in a list grow context in this project library, so I'll choose that. One of the great things about this little clickable thing, include stock assets and music, is that I don't have to choose a song from the library of 27,000 songs, which is great. And if your project library is empty, it's going to go out to the what's it called, stock libraries, and collect one for you based on your script. But that's another webinar. Okay, new script. I'm in the editor. Click the AI script creator. Remember, I have all of the text still copied, so I'll just click Command V, and I'll choose the creator for today. So there's press releases, news, recruitment, case studies, but also blog articles. So this is dependent on what kind of input text that you have and what. Okay, so this one in the toned light gray, that will depending on what outcome you want. You can choose a statement teaser, if you're in the e-commerce business and you have a product site or an Amazon product, you can use one of these. These are great. And the newsletter promos. But we'll head up here for the case study. I'm definitely gonna the last one we saw was with the quote from Ariel. Maybe I'll do just a case story without a quote today. No, actually, I want to show you, so I'll do the one with quotes. I have this bunch of text here. This is what took time, creating all of this text. Now we're just gonna easily distribute it. Create script. Water. As I said before we started, I found a room at the office. It's about 35 degrees in here right now. So I'm turning a bit red. Okay. I have a script. I have a video script. Let's Grow gains 20,000 followers in a year with video. Kind of cool. Here's some background. They knew the importance of increasing social media presence. A cool quote from Ariel. When we started using Storykit, we have 58,000 followers on LinkedIn. Now we have 78,000. And then some more context, how they use the platform. Oops, my Grammarly popped up. Another quote and a cool result. Read more to learn. I could scratch that if I want to do an in-feed one. Okay, cool. Let's check out the storyboard, how that came out. And also, remember that I did some completely different videos in the same project. So this might not always be the perfect one, but I have a draft that I really like. I'm going to create it because I think it looks good. Here we are. Okay, list growth. This is a video I made in this project for the company Skippery last night. Yesterday. I'll just choose something else to make it look a bit cool. Here's the Ariel. It doesn't really, the AI doesn't really make a difference, of course, between the, I haven't like told the AI that this is her picture, so I'll do that manually. Looks cool. Some more background. I'll go with, why not this one? Here's her quote again, so I'll just put her there. And I mean, I can change this as much as I want to, but at least I have something to work with. I have a video to distribute that will probably help me increase my reach and my impressions and my following, because staying active, I think, is the most important thing. Everything doesn't have to be perfect. I rather do something than less. And since we auto-filled the click with the music stuff, it given me a song. And I'm pretty sure that's going to be okay. So we'll just save it and we'll click full HD. And I can do some more changes that will probably take me 2 more minutes, but now in, what is it, 7 minutes, it also takes longer because I'm talking so much. But now we have a video and I can create 5 of these. And if I want to distribute this once a week for a month, I got my content, it's done. I have my distribution. I can just schedule these and I can go and do something else, like host a webinar or something. I've had some issues with my internet connection this week and last week. Those of you who attended know that my sound disappeared a few times. Hope that hasn't happened today. So yeah. But I think, I mean, what I could do, yeah, I mean, I think this is so cool because I've received this great piece of content from the content manager, and it's my job to get it out there. And it can be really tricky. Sometimes I start from a blank storyboard. I mean, if I want to do a quick quote video like I showed in the presentation, I can just jump in and do that. There's so much great stuff here. I mean, all of this that the webmaster put together. That's content. So if you're ever struggling with not knowing what to distribute or what to post, you just want to do something, go and just reuse something that you already have. It's usually not this long, I promise. But if you're at work and you do this, you can just go and have a coffee or talk to a colleague, ask them what they're going to do this weekend. I don't know. It's a quick break. Yeah. When I upload this later on YouTube, I'll have to cut this part out. No, I'm kidding. Kidding again. A lot of kidding today. But, we're supposed to have fun as well. I might actually, if this still, I'll show you just super quickly what I mean with using a storyboard ID to duplicate a video. What I do then is that, okay, I've seen this great video on Facebook, in the Facebook group, and Heidi has shared the ID. What do? Well, I copy that one. When I click new video, and instead of writing script, I click on blank storyboard. I create a video from a storyboard. I paste that in there and create. And you see, I have a copy. Pretty nice. I can send this to a colleague and ask, can you please make this one better? And they will add some cool stuff, perhaps. Okay, we have a video. I like this song. So this is a longer one. It's 1.5 minutes. I can easily divide this video into 2. That gives me 2 videos from just one creator. Yeah, and there's the powerful quote from a peer, from another marketer that's struggling with wanting to increase reach and wanting more impressions. Well, they made it through Storykit. So guys, I think maybe we are done. What do you think? I'll, of course, share this all with you. But before I do that, I'm going to let you off the hook. And thank you again for joining me today. If you have any questions, send me an email, connect with me on LinkedIn, and write me a DM. Or please just join us in 2 weeks again when we dig into something else. I'll hang around for another minute if there is a question. Otherwise, thank you for joining. I appreciate you. This is fun. And have a great Thursday. Question from Daniel. Quick question in the final video. There is your Storykit logo. Is it possible to remove it or add your own? Of course, yes. My logo shows because I've created a theme with it. Quickly gonna do this again. This is what it's all about. Storykit is creating a video with your own branding. So I'll go to my client again, and you see here we have here's all of our customers. They have their own agencies. I can go to themes, and here are the ones I use. If I click a new one, I can do this. If you send me a logo and your font and your colors, I could create your own theme in 2 minutes. Daniel's theme. There are rule sets if you want stuff to not be part of your theme. If you're you have 10 different creators at your company, and you want to involve the person working in the reception, you want them to make videos as well, but you only want 5 slide types out of 15. You upload your logo here. So I'll go maybe I'll choose one of these, the brand marks. We use Helvetica. I'll add that one there, and all of your brand colors. So it's as easy as that. Daniel asks, what about CI/CD? Could this fully implemented? I'm sorry, Daniel, I don't know what CI/CD is. Good question, of course. Like company font. Yes, definitely. Your company fonts. There's a bunch. We have different subscriptions depending on your need for video and how your organization looks. There's a bunch of fonts that you get for free when you sign up for a starter license, but you can import your own if you have something that's not a Google font. Of course, we'll set everything like that. We'll set it up for you before you start using Storykit. So it will all be your brand. Cool, Daniel. Thank you for your questions. That's so nice. Okay, guys. Thank you for today. I love doing this with you. I'll see you around. Bye.